This wasn't a usual ceremonial speech. It wasn't about tradition and formality. No, this wasn't about truth. This was about transformation. What Charles revealed in just a few words not only shook the monarchy, but sent tremors through the nation. And the consequences, well, are already rewriting royal history, splitting public opinion in two, and unleashing a storm of controversy, admiration, and fear. Now, hold on tight, because once you hear what he said, you'll never look at the crown the same way again. Prince Harry is 40 years old, but still he's throwing his toys out of the pram, bleeding and whining that the establishment and his family is out to stitch him up. Will he never learn? Because just when you think this idiot man-child couldn't sink any lower, he does exactly that. This time by saying, I want to reconcile with him because I don't know how long he's got left, but he won't speak to me. The British public could be forgiven for thinking Harry had sunk to his lowest point. But then he said all of this, and he said it not out of any concern for his father, but because he wants us to feel sorry for him. From the minute the king's cancer was diagnosed, and throughout his treatment, no one, not the royals themselves, not Buckingham Palace, not the media, have ever suggested he might die, because it's just not something that should be speculated about on a public platform. The monarch and the rest of the royal family send a message to Prince Harry during their major balcony appearance at VE Day commemorations. The commemorations come just days after Harry told the BBC his father will not speak to him, and he does not know how much longer the king has left. Buckingham Palace has since issued a firm response, emphasizing that King Charles views the matter as one to be handled by the government and the courts, not the royal family. Sources close to the palace stressed that intervention would be constitutionally inappropriate and underlined the king's frustration with his son's failure to respect this principle. Then, the response signals that despite Harry's calls for reconciliation, there will be no immediate change. As for Queen Camilla, she remains on the sidelines with no role in this delicate situation. The royal family's response is a reminder of the deepening rift and the challenging road ahead for any potential healing. The king and queen were said to be looking forward to the week's events. And it is understood that out of respect for the surviving veterans, Buckingham Palace hopes nothing will detract or distract from celebrating with full cheer and proud hearts that precious victory and those brave souls on this most special and poignant of anniversaries. Royal balcony moments always show the firm at their highest status best, standing in a position of ultimate power as a strong family unit while looking down on the masked crowds of their subjects, all cheering wildly to show their support. So the symbolism of this appearance could hardly have been more timely given the latest verbal pelting to have come from Montecito. This confident, stoic appearance suggested high levels of the kind of resilience that the royal family are always known for. Charles noted his fight with the illness has given him an even deeper appreciation of the extraordinary work undertaken by the organizations and people who were present at the event, and it has reinforced what I have long observed during these visits, that the darkest moments of illness can be illuminated by the greatest compassion. The monarch added. One source mused to shortly after the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump that it was odd to argue that the UK presents more of a threat to the Duke's security than the US, where even the best protected individual in the land can still find themselves subject to attack from individuals using weapons that can be acquired over the counter. Last year, that the two were no longer speaking by phone, and laid the blame for the unbelievable situation around Harry being denied automatic police security in the UK, despite a very real threat, firmly at the feet of the king, adding if the king wanted he could do this for his son. Harry previously told that removing their police protection was an effort to control his family and force them back into the royal fold, because without the extra security, visits to the UK could potentially be dangerous. His legal team argued that Harry had been singled out for inferior treatment that placed his safety and life at stake after his UK security arrangements were downgraded after stepping back from royal duties and relocating to California. But the government's position has now been upheld in the Court of Appeal. Harry could appeal the ruling in the Supreme Court.